From The Guardian, federal prosecutors open criminal investigation into New York Attorney General Letitia James. Lock her up. And another bit of news, I don't know if you guys saw this. New York State just slipped, I think it's $10 million into their state budget to pay her legal bills.
Jesus.
So it is happening. For those that have been saying, why won't Pam Bondi and the DOJ go after these corrupt people? It hath begun. They're going after Letitia James for mortgage fraud. She filled out paperwork claiming that her primary residence was going to be in Norfolk, Virginia, while she was the New York AG. You can't do that. And so it was Bill Pulte, who's the head of, what is it? What's his
Federal
department?
Housing Finance Administration.
Amazing. I cannot believe it. That the first, maybe actually, I think DOJ are the first criminal recommendations. But I suppose one of the biggest, the first actual play against the corruption from the Democratic Party came from housing.
Yeah. No, it's pretty incredible here. I mean, you look at it. So this happened in the accusations being made against her was that she considered her primary residence to be in Virginia in 2023. Now she became AG in 2019. So, 4 years later, and she was doing this as she was prosecuting Trump for a similar but much lesser crime.
The exact same thing.
But on a much lesser scale is my point. This is blatant fraud. This is mortgage fraud. We've got insurance fraud on top of that. This is, we're talking about Virginia, which is famous for not being the state of New York. New York state statute actually requires that if you are an elected official, your primary residence must be in the state of New York, or your seat could be declared vacant by the legislature. So, I mean, she's actually in some sort of, it's possible for her to even lose her seat over this.
And this isn't the only thing she did, though. She lied about how many units were in a property. She said it was 4 when it was supposed to be, but when it actually had 5, so that she could get a more residential loan to save her tons of money. And she did the same thing with the insurance, so the insurance was less. She's done this on multiple levels, and I'm finally happy they did something about it. I first heard about this, Sean, that was on last night, reported about it a month ago, that they found it. But yeah, she's in a lot of trouble.
This isn't enough, though. That's what I want to say. I don't want to celebrate this too much yet, because they have to actually put these people in cuffs. That's what Americans want. That's what middle America wants. When I talk to them, and I spend a lot of time talking to these people. I'm from Kentucky. I talk to my dad is even asking me, when are we going to see perp walks? When are we going to see these people being arrested? Because we haven't actually seen an arrest of any corrupt politicians yet, at least on the federal level. We heard something earlier today that me and Tim, before we were on here, talking about in Texas, I believe, that Attorney General...
Oh, yeah, six Democrats were indicted for fraud, including a judge.
Yeah. We need that on the federal level. Yeah, we have this here. Even if you're talking about these files that are on the desk ready to be processed, give the American people something. We need to start seeing these perp walks. And, I know there's a lot to go through, but, man, I just, come on.
Well, I mean,
how about lock them up?
Lock them up.
I mean, it is important to get... to actually produce results for the American people. There are people that really, really want to see some kind of justice. There's so many assumed crimes, and there are a lot of people that just don't have the patience that they should, to be honest with you, because you want them to have a solid case. It takes time to produce a case. Just because you're like, well, we know, and this happened and that happened, it takes time to go and actually run down the information, go and actually follow up and make sure that you have a case, because you don't want to have these people get arrested and then walk, or to have some kind of problem procedurally.
But they've had all this information for so long now.
I get it, but at the same time, you want to make sure that you have them dead to rights, because if you don't and they find some way to get around, everyone's going to be way more pissed about that.
A lot of these things have statute of limitations that are like time, the clock is ticking. Like, we need to get these people.
I agree, Phil, but I think we're well past that kind of decorum, in that when they went after Trump, they just made it all up. So the idea
they found the person and then found the crime later. That's what they did to Donald Trump.
Donald Trump, when he was charged with the business records, 34 felonies, those weren't felonies. They just literally fabricated fake crimes and then convicted him. So I'm at the point where I'm like, I literally don't care. They could literally come out and be like, she's guilty, and I go, okay.
Yeah. Well, you think about it.
The Democrats did it too. I mean, that's what they've done.
Yeah.
Yep.
I want to see results, and I want to see results that stick. So I get that people are impatient, but I want to see people actually going to jail. And the best way to ensure that people go to jail is to have an airtight case, or as close to an airtight case as you can.
Well, we're still having elections. We're having a lot of local elections that are happening. We're having state elections. You've got gubernatorial elections coming up here. And if we don't see results, if people that went out to vote for Trump in November, if they don't see tangible results in terms of arrests, a lot of people voted for arrests. That's what they want to see. I mean, that was one of the biggest issues. Right behind immigration was weeding out corruption in the federal government. And if they don't see any results, why are they going to go out and vote? Because they're going to feel like they've been lied to.
Though. It doesn't matter how airtight your case is or how much evidence you have. You put Letitia James in front of a jury, right? In front of a jury in New York, she's getting off no matter what.
Why New York?
Yeah, you're going to do it. You can move the venue, right?
West Virginia.
Yeah, right. There we
That's
go.
what they did to Trump. Let's have her criminally tried in West Virginia and see how she does.
We'll see. But if they do it in New York or if they do it in DC,
Actually, it's likely they might, or they could possibly do it in Jersey too. If they do it in New Jersey, who's the? Think about that.
No, New Jersey.
Well, New Jersey.
Unless it's South Jersey.
No.
North Jersey
The location of the crime.
Yeah.
So she was trying to buy a house in Virginia, but what bank was she using and where was she filing? It could be New York or Virginia.
But if you put her in front of a jury in New York, forget it. I mean, like they're gonna love her, and they're gonna.
The jurors will literally stand up, and the judge will say, "How do you find the defendant guilty?" But she's free to go because we don't care.
100%. 100%.
No, the reason that I say New Jersey is because they're definitely going to move it out of New York. They're not going to have it in New York. They might agree on some middle ground there. If you put Alina Abba up there, I'm telling you, at a minimum, you're going to rip her to shreds. I'm just saying, it's going to be embarrassing.
A judge would have to approve change of venue, and the judges won't do that to her. Like, I don't think I could never see it going outside of New York. It depends on where she.
You were talking about ticks earlier, Tim. Look at that. I got ticks on the pen here.
Are you kidding?
It's on me right now.
What is a tick?
Yeah, it's on the pen.
Well, go get rid of it.
Smash it. Kill it.
You can't smash
crush
them.
it.
You can't crush ticks. You got to drown them or burn them.
You can cut them in half.
Okay, drop them in that Coke.
You're clearly not.
Here, put it in this thing.
I told you that it's tall grass in tick season.
Jesus.
Don't let them escape. Just drop it.
Burn them.
Of course, it's near me.
Here you go.
No.
Close that. It's tick season right now. I told you.
Drown that thing.
Are there more? I'm terrified.
No, that's the last one on the whole
Is it
property.
in there? I think you screwed it in the.
We got him,
Let me see.
Mary.
I think that's a pretty good place for him.
Yeah, no, it's screwed in the cap, I think, somehow. It was just skeeving me
Cap.
out.
What do you mean?
Like, it was crawling on the cap when he twisted it on.
Like you smashed them?
I don't know.
Hopefully.
They don't really smash like that, though.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't. No, they don't.
No, they really don't.
If they're big,
you can't kill them with your fingers, but they will. If you get a rock and a hammer, they will smash.
Okay.
All right.
Anyway, Letitia
if that starts
James,
crawling out of there,
not unlike an insect that sucks blood, is causing great problems for our country and deserves to be in prison.
Yes, I completely agree. I just want, like I said, my concern is I want these things, these prosecutions to be effective, and I understand that we can all come up with all kinds of ways where they should be, and the American people would be fine if they bent the rules, whatever. I just want to make sure that these people actually go to jail for breaking the law.
Yeah, but this really shows you how sure she was that Donald Trump was never going to be president again.
Oh, yeah.
Because she was actively committing federal crimes.
Yep.
I mean, obvious federal crimes while she was prosecuting Donald Trump. That is the most insane part about this. It's unbelievable. I mean, actually, it's totally believable, to be honest. But
well, I mean, the Democrats have felt like they're above the law, and I think that even though they reject the idea completely when you present them with it, I think that underneath that they kind of felt like, well, yeah, it's okay when we do it. There's always been a hierarchy when it comes to Democrats and Republicans, or not always. The last 20, maybe 25 years, there's been a hierarchy when it comes to Democrats and Republicans. When Democrats do it, it's okay. When Republicans do it, throw the book at them. Look at what happened with the whole Summer of Love. There's all kinds of rioting and firebombing of federal buildings and stuff. And then on January 6th, there's a riot at the Capitol, and all those people get wrapped up. Right, they're chasing them down, going to their house 6 months later, whatever. They wrapped everybody up that they could. There has been a hierarchy, and Democrats have expected that.
Are we getting back into the Summer of Love, Tim?
I don't know.
2.0?
I don't know yet. It's hard to say. We had the Tesla terror attack, so that's indicative of yes.
Yeah, but look at New York.
But the far left protests in Portland and in UW were actually fairly weak.
Yeah, well, I mean, you look at what's going on in New York right now, as we
Oh, right,
speak.
there's riots currently right now. Yeah, here we go. Look at this. But New York's always been rather tame.
But NYPD's actually moving in. That's
This is normal. They do this. Anyway, yeah, riots right now are happening in New York, so.
But talk about what happened yesterday. This is what I mean. This is where the difference happened. Where yesterday they stormed into that library at Columbia University, and they weren't allowed back out unless they identified themselves.
Yes.
And if they wouldn't identify themselves, they were arrested for trespassing. So, and then ICE put detainers on all of them, so they'll end up. So now they have their identities, because if you get arrested, you're unmasked.
Yep.
They have your identity.
Did you guys see that story about the teenager, the 19-year-old who got pulled over, didn't have a license, lied about having one? Turns out her and her whole family were illegal immigrants. They're being deported.
Yep.
My response was, can we launch a give send to go for the ICE agents?
But the way the LA Times posted, I don't know if you saw the headline on that. It's like, undocumented immigrant takes a wrong turn and ends up being arrested by ICE. It's like, okay, yeah, took a wrong turn, driving without a license, been in the country.
Wait, sorry. It was Detroit woman took wrong turn, ends up deported. And it's like, what are you not telling me?
That was also a wrong turn that was into a military base. I don't know if they told you that part.
Was that the story?
Yeah.
Because the Detroit woman accidentally drove into Canada.
No, so this is a different
wow.
story. So this is another wrong turn story. This one was from today. Even Bill Malugin from Fox was ripping it apart on X. He's like, oh, well, here's a part of the time that the LA Times didn't tell you about. So is the one you're talking about Detroit, or are you talking about the one from LA?
A Detroit woman, I'm doing air quotes for those who are just listening, drove on the bridge that accidentally went into Canada. And when she turned around, they said, who are you? And she was like, and they're like, you're an illegal immigrant, you're getting deported.
Yep. All right, so she tried to cross another border illegally is what you're telling me.
She accidentally tried to cross the border, and they caught her.
More of that. I want the fear of God into these people. That's the only way they're going to self-deport. If they're constantly living in fear, if you're here illegally and you're living in fear that you're going to be, it is much better. Like, this is a PSA for all the illegals and watching right now. It is much less nice to be deported by ICE, held in a jail. You go to, I think one of the places you go first, you go to like Louisiana, and they hold you in an ICE facility for a few weeks, and then they send you to whatever country, and Libya is next on the list. I don't know if you heard that.
So I saw a tweet by someone, his name's Johnny Mag on X, and he was talking about a DC restaurant owner says that ICE visited his restaurant yesterday, and it was very concerning because his employees are scared and might not come back to work. So he's admitting that
Why won't they come back to work?
Hiring illegal. Right. They should arrest the store owner, and he should face jail time. There are people out there that will swear up and down that Republicans don't want that. Well, I don't care what you call me. I want people that employ illegal immigrants to go to jail.
Knowingly.
So knowingly, yes. Thank you.
They all know.
Well, it's kind of a don't ask, don't
If
tell
they've got fake
situation.
Social Security cards and they're defrauding the business owner, like, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, but if you
Isn't there E-Verify?
Yeah.
So
In D.C.?
pretty sure that's a federal.
The point is, look, if these people won't, if the people that are here illegally cannot find work, they will. That is more pressure to self-deport them. The government should be applying pressure in every way it possibly can to get the people that are here illegally to leave.
So
I got it. We'll deport the business owner.
Get him out of here.
So I don't know if you saw this part, but one of those business owners in D.C. is Nora O'Donnell's husband. You know, the fake CBS News.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Send them both out of here.
Right, and so they initially tried to say, oh, it's political, it's weaponization of government. It's like, okay, so are you admitting that your husband is hiring illegals? I probably wouldn't touch this story if I were you, Nora. I would maybe not highlight the fact that your husband's hiring illegals.
So is E-Verify only for businesses with a certain minimum of employees
I think it's
currently?
for anybody.
Anybody?
Yeah, I think it's
Really?
for anybody. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I think we just got to create the right incentive structure to get like people to self-deport. That's the biggest thing. We
Aren't
have
they
to
doing
make
it
the
already,
incentive
though?
to make
Just
it easier. I think
$1,000
just-
and a free one-way flight.
Yeah, I mean, I think that might work for some people, but there are going to be people that can say, oh, well, if I think about this logically, if I stay here for this amount of time, I earn over $1,000 really easily under the table. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying we have to come up with the right incentive to make it happen. I don't know what that
How
is.
about you're going to get arrested and be in jail forever?
That
I don't
doesn't
know.
scare a lot of people. Some people know that some people are illegal as hell every single day.
Do you know how much it costs to deport somebody?
Yeah, it's like $17,000.
Crazy.
Yeah, I know.
It's wild.
Okay.
Why?
So we have
E-Verify
to at least start
only-
meeting them at $17,000 or something like that to get them to leave. We have to.
E-Verify
Reasonable. A lot of
only
Indians already
includes
left.
employers who have self-reported they have at least 5 employees at the time they enrolled in the program. Businesses with fewer than 5 employees are not included in the database. If a business has multiple locations, it doesn't necessarily mean that all of them will be enrolled. So there are just a lot of ways that you can
Get
create
around it.
loopholes and then like create a different LLC over here and shift things around and get around it.
The federal government hasn't been enforcing it for the longest time anyway, so
True.
people just really haven't been worrying about it.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.